published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. Okay, and we have an opening prayer. Our Heavenly Father, as we usher in the Christmas season, we pray that the blessings of peace continues to unite our nation and grow throughout the world. Amen. Okay, we face the flag. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call, please.
Ballas.
Present.
Bennett.
Present.
Bertino.
Here.
Horsey.
Just here to hear some new presents. Present.
Days.
Here.
Fitzpatrick. I know that Freeholder Fitzpatrick is on. Her camera's not currently working, so I'm going to record her as present. Gatto.
Here.
Risley.
For present.
And Kern.
Here. Okay, freeholders have had an opportunity to review the minutes from November 17th, 2020. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the November 17th, 2020 minutes as presented.
So move.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from freeholders? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas. Ballas. Bennett.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Horsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick. Gatto.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. A little housekeeping note, anyone that would like to speak during public comments, please type yes in the question and answer box. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please state your name and the town you reside. And as we have for the past so many months, we're going to have an update. Is Pat Diamond, are you here?
Yes, I am, Freeholder.
Thank you, Pat. Do we have an update from you?
Sure. Number of cases, cumulative Atlanta County-wide positive, 19 cases to date, 11,921, up from 9,461 reported 2 weeks ago. Fortunately, 5,184 people report as being recovered or cleared. I'd like to highlight what this recovery number means. Number of recovered individuals indicates those who have been confirmed to be clear of symptoms after a designated isolation period. For the most part, that's 10 days, but sometimes it's extended if people are having a more difficult time getting better. Approximately 25% of all cases coming in fail to respond to our initial contact or a follow-up letter. And actually, 3% that we reach out to choose not to participate upon contact. Therefore, their recovery status cannot be confirmed. So that is why the difference between the number of cases and the number of actual people that report recovery, because a lot of that, many people don't want to participate. In Atlantic County, unfortunately, there have been 314 deaths reported. Most, if not all, of these patients have had underlying conditions, which makes it difficult for them to recover. Some of the underlying conditions include obesity, type 2 diabetes, cancer, chronic disease, heart condition, pregnancy, and also being a smoker. We are seeing an increase in hospitalizations. This is causing some moderate staffing and space issues at our hospitals, but so far are able to handle. Unfortunately, the level of influenza is still at a low level in our county and across the state. And daily updates and cumulative numbers still continue to be posted daily on our website at aclink.org. We are still not seeing an increase due to schools or businesses opening and staying open, but in transmission in the community within families and group gatherings, especially associated with the most recent Thanksgiving holiday. The state has provided us with more contact tracers for case interviewing and contact tracing to get on the cases quickly. We now have approximately 60 contact tracers. Most workplaces, schools, and long-term care cases, however, are contacted by public health nurses to ensure COVID-19 transmission prevention measures continue to be followed. I wanted to update you on the actual timeframes concerning quarantine. On December 2nd, CDC released guidance with options to shorten the quarantine time period, which, while it risks being less effective than the currently recommended 14-day quarantine, it may reduce the burden and increase willingness to adhere to public health recommendations. However, our State Department of Health continues to recommend quarantine for 14 days to reduce the risk of spread of COVID-19. But they do recognize if staying home for 14 days would pose a significant hardship, there are two acceptable options, which are the no test option. Actually, quarantine can end after 10 days if you remain symptomatic or asymptomatic without symptoms. The test option is get tested between day 5 and 7, not earlier than day 5. Must quarantine at home until results are received, and the results must be, of course, negative. Quarantine cannot end earlier than day 7. If the test result is delayed, quarantine should be continued until after day 10. So there are two options if that 14-day quarantine period is proving to be a hardship. However, at the high-risk congregate settings, your long-term care, your assisted living group homes, the 14 days is still recommended. I wanted to update on vaccination preparedness. The Atlantic County Division of Public Health, we continue to prepare for the vaccine distribution. We are in the process of finalizing the location of our mass vaccination clinic. We are working on a floor plan to determine initial throughput and patient flow while adhering to social distancing guidelines. What also needs to be factored in this floor plan is the 15-minute observation period after vaccination, which is required. State Department of Health is continuing to work on a web-based registration system, which they hope to roll out by the end of the week. We, of course, are anxious to see this, as we have been asked by the state to assist in early delivery of vaccine to community health workers when we are up and running. These early receivers are healthcare workers in hospitals, long-term care, home care, urgent care, emergency medical services, dialysis centers, dental offices, funeral homes and pharmacies, public health and group homes. They will be followed by essential workers, fire, police, critical infrastructure workers, then adults at high risk, then finally the general population. The vaccine is free. There are 2 doses that need to be received. Depending on the vaccine manufacturer, it could be 3 to 4 weeks apart. I am pleased to report today that Atlantic Care received Pfizer vaccine and began to administer vaccine to their employees, which is ever so important in protecting frontline workers. Atlantic Care also reports that among their employees, there is a 60% interest in receiving the vaccine, which is actually higher than flu vaccine acceptance by that group. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Any freeholder questions?
Madam Chair, through you to Pat, if I may. What code are we? Are we in orange? Are we in red?
No, our matrix that's applied to our schools, we are in IRID. We are in IRID, orange, high risk. We have been there for the last few weeks.
Okay. The other question, comment anyway I did receive notice prior to the Freeholder meeting. Apparently there was going to be some photo op tomorrow at Atlantic Care with the county executive, the mayor, and the lieutenant governor regarding the vaccine shot, but I'm told she is canceled because due to the weather. So as you indicated, Atlantic Care has received it, so I guess they're ready to roll it out.
They started actually today.
Good enough. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
As always, keep up the good job.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, freeholder. Do I have any other freeholder questions or comments? Seeing none, do we have any questions from the public?
Yes, we do. Chairwoman, we have John Keenan. He's being raised from an attendee to a panelist.
Okay, Mr. Keenan, are you there?
Give us one moment. Mr. Keenan? Mr. Keenan?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you may speak now.
Thank you. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank Ms. Diamond on behalf of the Greater Egg Harbor Regional High School District, 3 high schools, for her outstanding accessibility, and that on behalf of the department. They've been very helpful, nights, weekends, anytime. They're very responsive and very helpful, especially under extraordinary circumstances. So we'd like to extend that thanks very much.
Thank you. I'll pass that on to my staff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keenan. Do you have any other comments from the public?
Yes, we have Creed Pogue. We are returning Mr. Keenan to attendee and raising Mr. Pogue to a panelist. Mr. Pogue? Mr. Pogue, can you hear me? Mr. Pogue, we can hear you.
Sonia, I don't hear Creed, FYI.
I don't hear him either.
I hear somebody breathing. I thought it was him I was hearing. I do believe he has a question. Let me see if I can access it. I found it. Is there any information regarding what percentage of the infected have long-term complications?
We receive information from the Centers of Disease Control that there are continuing to study it. They are seeing some individuals that have some residual. But as far as a percentage as it relates to the total number of cases, they don't know.
Does Mr. Pogue have any other questions or statements?
I'm giving him a moment just in case he wants to type something in, and it does not appear that he does, Chairwoman.
Do we have anybody else in the public?
No one else from the public.
Okay.
Okay, and no other freeholder comments? All right. Thank you, Stein. Thank you so very, very much for everything. And keep
Okay.
us really updated. So thank you.
Stay healthy, sure.
Thank you. You as well. Okay, we have another. We now have a viability study regarding the expansion of the career and technical education programs at the Atlantic County Institute of Technology, funded by the Securing Our Children's Future Grant. And I believe Dr. Robert Previty is here to present. Dr. Previty.
He's muted, but Mr. Previty, you can speak.
I'm having trouble with your audio. I'm in and out of your audio.
We can hear you. And now we can see you.
Oh, you can't? Okay, excellent. Because I can't see you and you were in and out of the audio. So I'm thrilled to be looking at my screen saying join the meeting, and I'm glad that I'm already in it. It's a pleasure. Can you hear me now still?
Yep, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh. Went out.
Of the School of Education of Stockton University, and I thank you for the opportunity to present at least a brief overview of the viability study that we created for ACIT. Hopefully you have had ample opportunity to read the document in its entirety. And this presentation will be conducted by me and Mr. Leon Costello, who you know very well as a CPA of Ford Scott Associate. And it merely is to assist the Freeholder Board by summarizing the critical issues and considerations that shall be examined by the state for the funding as it relates to the Securing Our Children's Future Bond Act for ACIT. As you may read, it is a mandated criteria responsibility for the county as the county of record for Atlantic County, to be responsible for 25% of the total cost of the project. If approved by the Board of Chosen Freeholders, and if awarded by the state of New Jersey, the financial obligation of Atlantic County would be $13.5 million, and that will be explained in just a couple of minutes by Mr. Costello. We called it a viability study, because anybody can call things the feasibility study. Is it feasible? Is it possible? A viability study is it capable of being done with the means at hand and the circumstances as they are? How appropriate a time for Stockton to use this identifier rather than a feasibility study with 34% of unemployment and the grant being designed as a workplace developmental program? The data that'll be in there, I'm not going to look through the data sets because I think there's like 21 tables and there's a lot of information that you can glean yourself as it relates to the national data, county data through the Angelou Economic Study of 2015. I don't know if anyone from the freeholders were involved in that study. It's very comprehensive. It also goes into the details of the Governor Murphy and Lieutenant Governor Oliver's Building a Foundation for Shared Prosperity report in 2018 and the annual Perkins data cards, which is the aggregate of 7 secondary schools. As you will read in the program, and you'll see in the criteria, there are already going to be 4 major grants awarded in 3 tranches and 1 at large for best application. The monies allocated are $500 million, but the $350 million are really what we're talking about as it relates to the schools of record and their security plans. The state approval will be in 2 phases. One is a basic review of the schematic designs and the district's plan. And the second will be the revision to the long-range facility plan and their updated architectural renderings, which are included in the appendices. But according to what is going on now in the state, they may be rendered as something that's going to change. Page 10 will tell you the summary of the key grant considerations and the objectives and the eligible work. The national trends will indicate that the areas in which the growth and the positive outlook are somewhat symbiotic with the national and the Atlantic County Institute of Technology's plans to expand program. The interesting thing for the study that showed and gleaned for me something that I was unaware of, the acceptance versus application tables that you'll find in a document, and I believe they started table 13, will indicate that there is an unmet demand year over year for the applications to ACIT greater than 40%. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I sort of was aware of this, but it didn't hit home until I conducted the study. 9th graders are the only eligible, since it is a comprehensive institute of technology and not a semester about as it used to be with a vocational school. 9th graders applying from 8th grade are the only acceptance criteria that is accepted for a 4-year program. To say that 40% unmet demand year over year over year over year indicates that 40% that are not admitted, primarily based on functional space and program capacities, means that the only option that they have to proceed in an Institute of Technology environment for education would be night school after completing their secondary education. That is a significant number. If I were to bring it to your attention, 9th graders, if they were my child, it is something I was unaware of, and I thought it necessary to share with the Freeholder Board. In addition, the New Jersey Revised Statute under Title 18A, and I'm not sure you know this as a fact, 18A 54-50 for the enrollment of pupils in Atlantic County vocational schools, not just Atlantic. It doesn't read that you may admit them. It reads that you shall send to any school of county vocational school each pupil who resides in that district and who has applied for admission and has been accepted. Shall doesn't mean may, and all those kids that are applying with the unmet demand don't have an opportunity past the considerations of the limited space that they presently have. All the details I'm not going to share with you within the document. You can read them for yourself. But I'm going to bring you to the sections that I think are most important. And they relate to what I wrote as considerations. I didn't put recommendations in here. I didn't think it was my charge to recommend to a freeholder board that can read the same data sets that I can. And since you are responsible for providing opportunity and the budget for ACIT, I wrote them as considerations. And I also wrote them as an ROI or a return of investment, and not a return of investment on monetary return. I have been a banker as a board trustee and a chairman of a board for 18, 19 years. And so I know a model as it relates to the business model, but this is rather an analysis providing a context as to whether or not spending the monies creates an opportunity for greater learning and outcomes for increased earnings and career options commensurate with investment. If you know me and if you know anything about me, you know the things that I strive for 43 years as an educator is equity indexes. Anyone that wishes to argue that with me as it relates to school and I was in charge of making decisions was going to have an argument. The thing that you'll find in this study and in the considerations, and I discovered this myself, ACIT has an enrollment of special education children of greater than 11%. They have an economically disadvantaged enrollment of greater than 57%. And they have an ethnicity population that is reflective on serving populations in this county in an equitable manner. All those things I state for you because they will be reviewed in significant detail by the state for awarding of these grants. In a world of good, better, best, there's only going to be 4 major awards of $40 million, of which ACIT is looking for a one-time expansion to service the children that no longer have an opportunity to go into ACIT. The other part of the recommendations, as I see it, for consideration would be the only eligible district in Atlantic County to receive this award is ACIT, because they are only for institutes of technology, as you will read in the documents. Every institute of technology, based on who I talked to as a director of and the person that coordinates all the programs, they are all somewhat in the same boat, having unmet demands. So that means that there's going to be considerable applications, and they're going to be very well done. And so part of the criteria going forward, and they can't even submit application if the freeholders do not approve the budget. So at this time, and I think Leon's on the call, the district budget and the payment schedules as to relate to bonding, of which I believe is something that you would do. He has the funding definitions and the assessed and equalized valuations as it relates to every municipality within the county. Leon, are you on?
Okay, now it's unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What I've done is prepared a schedule for a typical bond sale of $13.5 million at 2.8%, which is higher than what our rates are right now. So I'm leaving quite a bit of cushion. Most sales right now are in the 1% range, 1.4%. So this is an extreme high side as we sit here today, but we never know where the rates are going to go. If we have this sale for $13.5 million for 20 years, and we could go longer if we wanted to, but for 20 years, it would cost on an average $894,799 per year. That gets spread out over all 23 municipalities in Atlantic County. The share of this for Egg Harbor City, Galloway Township, Hamilton Township, and Mullica Township is roughly 18% of it. Allocated Egg Harbor City, 5,900, Galloway, 80,000, Hamilton Township, 63,000, Mullica, 13,000 and change. All these come out to about 1/3 of a 1/10 of a cent increase if no other factors were involved for each of the towns. So an assessed value of $100,000, it would cost on an average $3 in all these different towns. 200,000 costs $6, etc. So that's the impact of a $13.5 million bond sale with more than what today's rates are. I estimated high because we don't know where they're going to finish at. So a third of a tenth of a cent to each of those four towns, were about $3 per $100,000 of assessed value. Which is in Bob's packet. These schedules are in his packet.
Yeah, they're tables 18 and table 18 and 19 on pages 52 and pages 53.
And I read directly from those.
Okay. Bob, did you have, Dr. Previty, did you have anything more to say, or?
The only other thing that I would say is the critical question to be answered by the freeholders is at the bottom of page 54 as it relates to the ROI. Will the grant applications meet the needs of the students in Atlantic County? And is the project and proposal achievable, cost effective, and worth the investment to implement? That's the charge of the freeholders. I thank you for your time and the ability and the opportunity to present a study, which I thoroughly enjoyed doing.
Thank you, Dr. Previty. Mr. Costello, did you have anything more to add?
Nothing at this time. I'm available for questions.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the freeholders first. Does anybody have any questions?
Madam Chair?
Yes. Freeholder Corsi?
To Dr. Previty, or I heard someone just throw out the numbers. It was $13.5 million. And then you talked about each municipality, what it would cost. But I noticed I did not mention Pleasantville, Atlantic City, et cetera. Is that a chart? I don't have it in front of me.
They are in the I'm sorry. They are in the table on page 53. All the equalized valuations and the net valuations taxable to every municipality, and they are listed, Mr. Corsi.
Okay. Reason I raised that question, Dr. Previty, I do not have it in front of me. So I just noticed that you only gave
I see.
footnote of a few. And for the record, I'd like for you to tell me what it would cost for the city of Pleasantville and the city of Atlantic City, since you gave me the equalization of the other municipalities.
Mr. Quick, they're all going to be around a third, 0.3 of a cent on the tax rate, all of them. That's what the equalization table does.
So it's $3 on 100,000.
Yes.
$3 on 100,000, and that's all 21 municipalities.
Correct.
And if in fact, I heard someone mention it, if we were to bond it for the life, and I stepped away. Dr. Previty, you were talking about something in terms of if we were to bond the 13.5 million over the life of the, and that's when I lost it. So
over the life of a 20-year bond,
20 years.
the debt allocation would be $894,779
Per year.
Per year.
Yes.
And so that I'm clear, that would be, that 894,779 would be broken up over, like you said, $3 per 100,000 of each municipality.
Correct.
Some actually less, some under $3, some $2.80, $2.70, but yes, on average, $3. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because Atlantic City like to be like the one for the dollar and something.
Atlantic City is at $3.
Yeah,
and as Mr. Costello said, and I certainly don't have to reiterate for him, the bonding market is probably going to be lower than the projection in my table that was conducted last year.
Okay. I figured John Drisley would get a kick out of that, so I guess he didn't like that comment this time, but I figured if Atlantic City could come in and pay the lease, everybody probably would be okay with it. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I got a quick question.
Okay.
Yes, on the bonding, Leon, did you run the numbers with an assumption of 1.4 as well?
I can do that for you right now.
Okay,
It just take me a second.
that'd be great.
doing that, Leon, you know that Mr. Risley is a numbers man, so he went right to it.
Well, interest rates are going to be low for quite some time.
Yeah, for sure.
We're in a unique position right now.
I would agree.
So cutting the rate in half, making it 1.4, lowers that cost of 894, 779 per year down to 784, 889 per year. So about $110,000 less per year to be spread out over the all 23 towns.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any other Freeholder comments or questions?
Madam Chair,
Yep, Freeholder Fitzpatrick.
thank you. Not really questions, just a couple of statements for the record. I just want to recall that although this grant opportunity was passed in the state of New Jersey, it was not passed by the voters in Atlantic County. It was defeated here.
That's correct.
My question about funding is the $13.5 million is the 25% match. Do you have an accounting of the allowable versus unallowable costs of the project, which will be paid by taxpayers in addition to the match?
Dr. Gunther, I think you need to step in now to see the total cost of the project.
So our anticipated total cost of the project would be the $53.5 million. And that would be the total budget for the project. We don't anticipate going over that amount, but that is where our architects have put the value on this, and that includes a contingency for construction.
Okay, I understand that the budget will not go over the grant amount, but it's been my experience with grant analysts that sometimes project details, things that you want to do in your project are not allowable by the grant guidelines. Has that been decided? And yes?
Yes.
All $53.5 million are approved and allowable costs?
No, actually, that part of it in the language may be a little bit confusing. So this grant is somewhat unique, and that is if you submit something that is not allowable, the entire grant is not approved. So I think what you're asking is, have we accommodated for all the allowable costs? And we're only putting those costs in the grant that are allowable. So on the elevation, you might see what is an athletic field. That will not be in the grant proposal because we will not be able to get funding for that athletic field. We will not build that athletic field. We'll have to find a way in the future to fund something like that through another source.
So parts of the entire project will not happen unless they are paid for either by taxpayers or different grant funding. They're not going to be included in this grant.
They are not going to be included in the grant.
Okay. And then additionally, in the last 8 years, Atlantic County's population has decreased 11,000. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and think that some of those people are children. And have you taken that into account, our decreasing population with the expansion? And don't get me wrong, I think ACIT is doing a fantastic job, and I am fully in favor of a countywide high school district. However, I think we're only talking about half of the conversation, and that is expanding and basically building a whole new school when we have too many. Have you taken into account the decreasing population?
We have, but we've also seen an increase in applications. So we feel that that will continue. As Dr. Previty said, we're somewhere between 40 and 50% of the students who apply are not being, we're not able to accommodate. The other part of this is that, and I need to be very clear about this, this is a moment in time. So remember, I was before the Freeholder Board in September of 2019. I was back in December of 2019. When I came back in December, the idea was, and the approval from the Freeholder Board was to apply for the grant. And I was very clear that I would be back to the Freeholder Board when we had a specific number that we were working with and we could quantify what the county share of the grant proposal would be, or the project would be. So this is actually an interim step. This has been certainly much publicized and written about in the newspaper, and I don't think anyone's surprised that we're applying for the grant at this time. But this is a one-shot deal. There is $40 million on the table to expand your county vocational school. And if we don't do it in Atlantic County, the money will go somewhere else. And in the future, if you need to expand the school, all of the funds will have to come from the county taxpayers, not 25%, but 100%, or I shouldn't say 100%, whatever the funding mechanism is at that time, which is about 40% debt service aid, which is very different than a 75% grant. So we are looking at this as an opportunity for Atlantic County, and as Dr. Prebity said, the workforce development needs, after we saw the highest unemployment rate in the country because our economy is not diversified enough during the pandemic, we certainly know that we can do better in terms of preparing tomorrow's workforce in programs like aviation and increasing the number of students involved in health sciences and some of the IT and STEM related careers as well.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else, Freeholder?
No, I think that's about it for now. Thanks.
Okay. Do I have any other Freeholder comments or questions at this time?
Madam Chair, if I can.
Freeholder Corsi?
I have a quick question for Dr. Gunther, and he's mentioned that the $40 million that's available, that's on the table, and that we're the only ones that can receive this money, being a county school. I think that's accurate. We've had this conversation on a number of occasions. I guess my question, or at least my comment to the administration, would be, going forward, I would recommend and suggest that the county make sure all the municipalities are aware what they're going to be on the line for in terms of paying towards this payback. I think that's potent information that we should make sure that the residents in Atlantic County have. And we certainly hope that the administration would take that consideration. I don't think, at least I'm not objecting to going after this grant money, but I think we should let the public know going forward that it's going to be X amount of dollars per municipality over the life of the bond. I think that's fair. We talked about this in length. And so I would certainly hope my colleagues would support that suggestion to the administration to at least let the municipalities. Now, how the municipalities put it out there, Jerry and others, would be up to them. But I think if a letter came from the administration to the fact that we are in conversation and look like we're moving in this direction, this would be the impact on your budget. So it wouldn't come as a surprise to some municipalities, because, we're always going to have somebody to say, oh, I didn't know. Nobody told me. I would certainly strongly urge the administration to do that, and I would ask my colleagues certainly to support it.
Mr. Corsi, if I could bring up one other point, just so we understand the process as well. In the pandemic, as you know, the original deadline for this grant was to actually be submitted between between May and September of 2019. During the pandemic, of course, all of that changed. The Department of Education has put out a deadline of March 1st for us to have the grant submitted. That means that the freeholder board would need to approve, before we can submit the grant, the county share of the grant application. And I have to also tell you that this date of March 1st was not finalized until recently. There was some discussion that it might be moved again. However, it wasn't. So the Department of Ed has said they want them by March 1st. If it comes in after March 1st, we won't be eligible. So we have a lot of information created, and certainly I know that the Freeholder Board knows it's been delayed because you've had the study for several months now. But I also want to ask Mr. Costello, the numbers that he is giving you is for the standalone number for that particular bond issue. How that relates to the county budget and debt service that you put into the budget could vary. And I don't know whether Mr. Costello wants to comment on that, whether you retire debt that is already issued or other debt comes on, it all factors into the debt service piece.
Yes, so that's exactly correct. I mean, this is, if everything were exactly the same from one year to the next, this would impose that much of an increase in the budget. There certainly can be mitigating factors that could reduce that, but this is the worst that this could cause.
Okay, but again, Madam Chair, if I may, I understand that up to this point. And if I'm correct, Dr. Gunther is saying that the Board of Freeholders come the first year would be commissioners, county commissioners would have to pass a resolution in support of. So let the record reflect, I can't speak for my other colleagues, I am in agreement to doing that. However, I'd like to have a commitment from the administration to notify each municipality what is at stake in terms of their responsibility to pay it back. I think that's a fair request, and that I certainly hope that my colleagues would support it. Not to put anybody on the spot, this does not come as a surprise. We have been talking about this for some time. We just did not know what the final numbers were going to be. And so, you know, for full disclosure, I certainly heard my colleagues would support that that suggestion and recommendation. And that's prior to us passing the resolution.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any other Freeholder comments or questions?
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Yep, Freeholder, Alice, go right ahead.
Yes. So for Dr. Gunther, question. When you spoke about the debt service aid 40%, would the 25% of this grant that the county be responsible for also qualify for that 40% in repayment?
No, not under this grant.
Okay. And just a comment, as Freeholder Coursey just spoke of, I'm also in favor of it. You know, we always hear about the kids counts numbers and, you know, doing things here in Atlantic County to make sure these numbers come up. And by doing this expansion and being able to get more students that are on waiting lists to get into this school, it's a big plus for Atlantic County. I know that, you know, other school districts may not be happy about it because their students are trying to get into the technical school, but not every student is set for college. So being able to go to a technical school, and I think Atlantic County probably has the best, probably in the country, to be able to expand that and do it for 25% of the cost is a no-brainer, especially with the interest rates that they are right now. They're basically almost giving money away. And just because we apply for this doesn't mean we're going to get it. And if we don't get it, somebody will. So we would be foolish not to apply for it, I feel. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do we have any other Freeholder comments or questions at this time?
Madam Chair, I don't want to filibuster, but I would venture to say, and I concur with Freeholder Ballas, I would put ACIT neck and neck with St. Augustine's Prep. I know that, you know, St. Augustine's Prep is a male school, But when we talk about what it is ACIT offers, I could stand shoulder to shoulder to say that we have a top-notch county high school. As Frank has indicated, if we don't apply, somebody will. It'd be foolish for us not to do it. But again, I've not heard any of my colleagues sign on that they agree that the administration should notify the municipalities what's at stake, and that they should at least be put on notice. And how the municipalities put it out would be up to them. But I think we should notify each municipality.
I agree.
Agreed.
Okay, any further freeholder comments, questions? Yes, freeholder days. You have disappeared.
Yeah, I just want to say that to kind of follow up on Freeholder Coursey's suggestion, and also Dr. Gunther and Leon, maybe the budget committee should kind of look at this as well, because they did say that there are some other things that may impact that notification going out to each municipality as far as has planned for the budget preparation process. Secondly, I also would like the education committee to look at this again. We've had multiple conversations as far as what control, if any, the Freeholder Board has as far as enrollment at ACIT. When I talk about that, I mean the percentages coming from each municipality and how that affects the schools in those towns, specifically the high schools, of course, in each town.
Thank you, freeholder. Any other freeholder comments? Seeing none, we'll ask for, are there any public comments or questions?
Yes. Yes, Chairwoman. Mr. Pogue from Estelle Manor says he's having some technical audio difficulty. So his question is whether it is wiser to apply for the 25 million level rather than 45 million, since there will only be one 40 million awarded in South Jersey, but two 25 million will be available.
Dr. Gunther, would you like to answer, or Dr. Previty?
Well, I can answer, or Dr. Previty can answer. The program that we've put together really requires the larger grant. And if we're going to make a significant difference in terms of increasing enrollment, which is the purpose of the grant, to increase the number of students who are attending career and technical schools in New Jersey. So we feel very confident that our grant application will have the support of the business community and will match the county's economic development plan and do what it's supposed to do. So the 40 million really makes sense for us as opposed to the smaller grant.
Thank you, Dr. Gunther. Do we have any other comments or questions?
Yes, one additional question from Mr. Pogue. The point, though, is whether 25 million is better than zero. For the 40 million, it has to beat all 7 counties.
There is, may I say that there is an at-large. There's going to be 3 tranches, and then there's at large outside of the tranches for the 4th best application that meets the CTE requirements and the rubric established by the state. So the 4th award of $40 million is not contingent upon which tranche you're in. It's at large.
Thank you, Dr. Previty. Do we have any further questions or comments, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Keenan would like to speak. We will raise him from an attendee to a panelist. Mr. Keenan?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Freeholder Days just suggested that the Budget Committee and your Education Committee convene for further analysis on both the report presented tonight and also on the grant application. Will those meetings be scheduled? You acknowledged his comment, but you did not state whether you'd be in support of those committees meeting.
That would actually be up to the chairs of those committees. I would have to assume that they will do that, but at this stage, we have to look to see who's actually on those committees, being as we're at the end of the year here. But I would actually think that they would be meeting on this. Does anybody from the budget committee feel any differently? Freeholder Gatto?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I can make a commitment that we'll definitely meet as a budget committee if we can before the end of the year, if schedules allow, but absolutely in early January at the latest.
Okay, thank you very much, Freeholder.
I think there are more issues at stake beside the budget. The grant application has so many positive merits to it, both in terms of bringing funds to Atlantic County as well as expanding programs for our secondary students. I think there are educational aspects that should be further reviewed, discussed, and considered. And I would hope that that same commitment would be made today from the Education Committee, whether it be the standing committee or after your reorganization.
Yeah, and I think that's Freeholder Corsi. I don't know where he went, but I do know he said previously that he would be in favor of getting the group together, but I don't want to put words in his mouth.
And I'm sure he would prior to
That is, thank you, Chairwoman Gatto. That is absolutely correct.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you, Mr. Keenan. Do you have any other questions or comments?
No, thank you. Not at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Keenan. Do we have any other questions or comments from the public?
No, Chairwoman Kern.
Okay, thank you very much. Then that leads us right into, and I want to thank Dr. Previty, Dr. Gunther, and Mr. Costello for being here and giving this presentation this evening. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Holidays. Happy holidays to everyone.
Yes,
Be well.
happy holidays.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
if I may, just really quickly in case he drops off the meeting, Mr. Keenan, I don't know if all know, is retiring in a couple of weeks here, and he's been very passionate on this topic, among others, and I would be remiss if I didn't just congratulate him on his retirement and thank him for all of his diligence and hard work, not only on this topic, but for the Greater Egg Harbor Regional School District, which everyone knows has a special place in my heart. So John, just thank you for your years of service, and again, all the best in retirement.
Good luck, John.
good luck, John.
Agreed. Thank you so much, John, for your service. He has kept our committees on their feet.
Yes. Okay, that brings us into our grants and resolution 625.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development for the COVID-19 Relief Fund Workforce and Reskilling Grant, amount not to exceed $101,216.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley? And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 626.
Amending Resolution Number 33, adopted January 21, 2020, acceptance of grant funding from the New Jersey Department of Children and Families through the Human Services Advisory Council grant to reduce the award amount. Funded amount, $65,910. Net decrease, $1,020. In-kind match, $7,006.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Alice?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley? And Kern.
Yes, resolution 627, please.
Grant application and acceptance from New Jersey Transit for senior citizens and disabled residents transportation assistance program. Amount not to exceed $620,823.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Forsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 628, please.
Grant application and acceptance from the United States Department of Health and Human Services Center for Disease Control and Prevention for the fiscal year 2020 overdose data to action. Operation Helping Hand Grant, amount not to exceed $47,619.
Motion.
second,
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Forsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 629, please.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Disability Services for the Personal Assistance Services Program, amount not to exceed $62,226.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Forsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 630, please.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Office of the Insurance Fraud Prosecutor for the County Prosecutor Insurance Fraud Reimbursement Program, amount not to exceed $250,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Forsey?
Yes.
Days? Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. I'll now entertain a motion to combine and adopt the Chapter 159's resolutions numbers 631 to 635 and 665 to 671.
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Forsey?
Abstain.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last resolution number. What are we approving up to?
It was six.
668.
668?
All the Chapter 159s.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 636.
Amended professional services contract with Michael Baker International to provide additional engineering design services for the replacement of Nakote Creek Bridge, PR07, and extending the termination date, net increase $56,160.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Forsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
yes,
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 637.
Amended professional services agreements with various consultants under the 2020 Dam and Transportation Infrastructure Pool to extend the termination date only, no additional costs.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alice,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Damn, yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
yes,
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 638, please.
Professional services contract with Panoni Associates Incorporated for engineering and inspection services associated with the resurfacing of Tilton Road, Section 5, County Route 563, and Washington Avenue, Section 3, County Route 608, in Egg Harbor Township, amount not to exceed $123,290.26.
Motion.
second,
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alice,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi, Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
yes,
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 639.
Establishing a pool and entering into professional services contracts with various title companies for the provision of title company services, amount not to exceed $150,000.
Motion.
second,
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
yes,
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 640.
Professional services agreement with Acacia Financial Group Incorporated for the provision of financial advisor services, amount not to exceed $13,375.
so moved,
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
yes,
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 641, please.
Professional services agreement with Archer and Griner PC for the provision of bond counsel services, amount not to exceed $36,025.
Moved.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any freeholder comments?
Second.
Okay. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
yes,
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to competitive contracts, Resolution 642.
Competitive contract with Cersei Corporation doing business as Cersei Dynex for the provision of support and maintenance of the integrated library system at the Atlantic County Library System. Amount not to exceed $523,247.
motion,
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments?
Madam Chair, just a reminder, this is a 5-year contract.
Thank you, Freeholder Gatto. Any further comments? Okay, seeing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley, and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 644.
43.
43.
Competitive contract with Aramark Correctional Services for the provision of food service management at the Atlantic County Justice Facility. Amount not to exceed $8,376,750 for a 5-year period.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley, and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 644.
Competitive contract with Global Tel-Link Corporation doing business as GTL for the provision of tablet services, including video visitation for the inmates at the Atlantic County Justice Facility. No cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments?
Madam Chair, just want to give credit to the warden. He shared this information with the Budget Committee about this new program that he's bringing to the jail. It's at no cost to us, but it's an additional service to the inmates and the families of the inmates to be able to have the video visitation. Pretty important in the time that we're in now. So just wanted to highlight the work he did there.
Very nice. Thank you, Freeholder Gatto. Any further comments?
Madam Chair,
Yes, please.
I guess this would go to Jerry or anyone on the jail committee. Is this replacing a video conferencing system, video visitation system, or this is something being brought in?
This is brand new. Warden Kelsey is just bringing this in for the first time.
Okay. Yeah, I was this program years ago. It's great for the inmates, it's great for the county. I'm glad to see we're doing it.
Thank you, Freeholder. Any other freeholder comments, questions? Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 645.
Renew competitive contract sub-grant agreements with various vendors for Older Americans Act area plan services at 50% funding, amount not to exceed $484,499.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 646, please.
Renew competitive contract sub-grant agreements with various vendors for Older Americans Act area plan services, amount not to exceed $317,066.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Roll call, please.
Alice,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 647.
Renewal competitive contract with Barron Jewish Older Adult Services for nursing services to include physical health and education, amount not to exceed $36,000.
motion,
Second.
Motion been made second. Any freeholder comments? Okay, seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 648.
Renew a competitive contract with Barron Jewish Older Adult Services for the provision of senior center site manager services and furnishing of kosher meals for the Herman Pogachevsky Senior Center site in Atlantic City. Amount not to exceed $135,000.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino? Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 649, please.
Renew a competitive contract with Caring Incorporated for nutrition site management at the Jeffries Tower Senior Center. Amount not to exceed $62,500.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley? And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 650.
Renew a competitive contract with Milton and Betty Katz Jewish Community Center to provide nutrition site management at various locations throughout Atlantic County. Amount not to exceed $312,021.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any freeholder comments?
Yes, Chairwoman.
Yes, freeholder.
Thank you. I just want to say that these last 6 resolutions are giving funds to our area agency on aging, which consists of an amazing group of people who work very hard to keep Atlantic County seniors safe and healthy and engaged. They do a great job.
Thank you for mentioning that. I totally agree. I know we all do. Thank you, freeholder.
Sure.
Do you have any other comments? Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes. Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to bid contracts, resolution 651.
Bid contract with Action Uniform Company Limited Liability Corporation and Municipal Emergency Services Incorporated to furnish and deliver uniforms to the Atlantic County Sheriff's Office and Office of Emergency Management. Amount not to exceed $59,700.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 652, please.
Bid contract with Arthur R. Henry Incorporated to provide drainage rehabilitation improvements on various county roads. Amount not to exceed $279,472.08.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. To enter miscellaneous resolutions, Resolution 653.
Renewal lease agreement with the Center for Family Services to occupy space at 3050 Spruce Avenue in Egg Harbor Township, revenue generating.
Motion?
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley, and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 654.
Resolution to comply with the New Jersey Department of Human Services requirement for a standardized board resolution to be filed with the 2021 statewide respite care program by Atlantic County Division of Intergenerational Services.
Motion?
Second?
Motion been made in second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley, and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 655.
Business Associate Agreement between the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Aging Services, and the Atlantic County Division of Intergenerational Services to be included with the 2021 statewide respite care program.
Motion.
Second?
Motion made in second. Any freeholder comments? Okay, seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 656.
Resolution authorizing the sale of obsolete computer and telephone equipment, furniture, and vehicles through an online auction, revenue generating.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley, and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 657.
Intergovernmental Services Agreement with the Town of Hamilton concerning performance of a traffic study to identify potential improvements at various intersections in the vicinity of Central Avenue, County Route 542 and Route 30. Amount not to exceed $50,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any freeholder comments? Okay, seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 658.
Renewal intergovernmental services agreement with Rutgers State University for the provision of dental services for Atlantic County residents at the Cronin Dental Center. Amount not to exceed $60,500.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days, Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries.
Days? Okay.
I'm trying to see, his name's still on the computer. See.
He keeps freezing, and coming back on, so I'm sure we'll see him again.
Okay. Resolution 659.
A station identification break.
Memorandum of Agreement with Community Mediation Services Incorporated for services under the Older Americans Act, amount not to exceed $68,811.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Hey, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days? Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 660.
Memorandum of Understanding with the City of Brigantine to provide nutrition site management at the Brigantine Nutrition Site. Amount not to exceed $26,928.
So moved.
Second.
Moved. Second.
Motion been made second. Any freeholder comments? Being none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes. Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley? And Kern.
Yes, motion carries.
Madam Chair, Clerk,
Yep. Freeholder clerk.
did my vote register?
Yes, sir, it was.
All right. I know you called me 3 times. I know y'all like to hear my name, but I wanted to make sure it registered.
I'm sure perhaps the first 2 times you may have been muted, but I did in fact hear you on the 3rd time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, freeholder.
Resolution 661.
Memorandum of Agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police 112 Correction Sergeants of Atlantic County, extending the term of the January 1, 2017 through December 31, 2020 collective bargaining agreement for 1 year and incorporating the terms of memorandum of the agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Being none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 662.
Interlocal Services Agreement with the Atlantic Cape Community College for the provision of a Foundations for Success program, amount not to exceed $194,321.
So moved.
Motion. Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Being none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 664.
660.
Resolution requesting a cancellation of unexpended balances in the 2020 budget pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-60.
Moving 663.
Second.
Okay, motion made and second. Any freeholder comments? Hey, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, Motion carries. Resolution 664.
Resolution requesting a transfer in the 2020 budget in accordance with the provision of NJS 40A:4-58.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes. Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 669.
Professional services contracts with a pool of nurses agencies to provide COVID-19 vaccinations in Atlantic County, amount not to exceed $100,000.
motion,
Second.
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
yes,
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley, and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 670.
Bid contract with R. Maxwell Construction Company Incorporated for construction of a catering tent at the John F. Kennedy Green Tree Golf Course, amount not to exceed $786,000.
Motion.
second,
Motion made second. Any freeholder comments?
yes, ma'am.
Freeholder?
John F. Gaffney. I think Clerk Harris said Kennedy.
So,
I may have.
I think you did.
I stand corrected. John F. Gaffney. That's what my paper says as well.
Good.
Not
Good.
like this is
good-
long
good
or
ear.
anything.
Good ear.
Thank you, freeholder.
It's a long
Okay.
day.
So we do the vote on that one?
We did, yeah, we had a motion and a second, and I think you asked for freeholder comments.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was a comment. Do I have any other comments?
So, Madam Chair,
Yes, freeholder.
I guess, Jerry, apparently this is more than just a tent, correct?
Yes, well, they call it a tent. It's a physical structure that looks like a tent, but it seats around 200 people. It has windows, it has, heating, air conditioning, electrical. It has all the amenities that you would have if you build a stick building. So, correct.
So would this qualify their COVID as being like outdoor seating?
We would still have to meet all the 25% conditions that indoor eating would require.
So it would be an indoor facility, not.
That's correct. It's absolutely an indoor facility. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any other freeholder comments?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yep, freeholder.
Yeah, Jerry, it's a permanent structure.
Well, actually, they've asked us when we went to the zoning board and the planning board in Egg Harbor Township. They asked us to take it down after I think it's 7 or 8 months. So we do have to take it down for a period of time. And there are obviously agencies that do that. And we're going out to bid, as you probably know, and when the bids come in, like we just see here, you see what the bid is. That company also takes it down and will store it for us.
Thank you.
That's electrical, plumbing, everything included?
Everything, yes, correct.
Okay.
Any other freeholder questions or
Well,
comments?
follow-up question. Yeah. So Jerry, this is reoccurring cost every year for the construction and reconstruction on a yearly basis?
Correct. It has to come down. There'll be a charge to take it down and put back up, but it's minor. It's not that, yeah, so.
Wait, so just to clarify, the 700 isn't a recurring charge.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It is not a recurring, no.
Right.
Any further Freeholder comments or questions? Okay, any comments from the questions from the public? Do we have any comments from the public? Pat, are you on mute? Pat, are there any comments from? Yeah, I think you're not. We're not hearing you.
Pat's muted. Madam Chair, Pat is muted. So.
Yes, yeah, Pat, you're muted.
Madam Chair, while we're figuring that out, Creed Pogue, it looks like you posed a couple questions on that. What is the purpose? Would it be considered outdoor dining, which I think we just answered?
We have.
And
Okay.
what is the current utilization of hospitality at Green Tree?
Well, actually, it's expanded significantly, and then that's even during, the COVID period. As you know, we have upstairs at Green Tree, but I think the amount that you could see indoors is 66. And we weren't going to expand that building, which, in effect, we would have had to build a brand new building. The deck itself probably holds, I would probably say no more than 30 people. So this originally was designed to make Green Tree have the availability of having larger events. Forget the virus right now. Have larger events that they've been unable to in the past. So if John Hammer, who runs the course, wants to run an event, and I don't know if anybody plays golf, but a good event might be anywhere between 80 and 120 people. He'd be unable to have it indoors, at the facility if he was to do it and something occurred during the event. Also, he could never plan large events because there's no space to hold those events. And prior to getting a caterer, there was no food for events. So the whole concept here was, number one, give Green Tree an opportunity to have food, and number two, to have larger events, that obviously allows more usage of the golf course.
Thank you, Gary. Do we have
And he
any
did,
other?
and Madam Chair, just to mention that was discussed in the meeting, he did say that usage was way up, and that there are groups that have been coming, that there's like a ladies league that benefit from having more space, things like that, in addition to like special events. But he did mention that course is up, especially since we added food. So we only, think that we'll continue to see it to grow.
Okay, great. Thank you, Freeholder Gatto. Do we have any other comments or questions from the public? Is there anything further from the public?
Madam Chair, just one comment. It's funny, the owner, we had to meet with the owner about several other issues about at Lake Lenape. And it's funny because I never thought like this, but he was telling us it's amazing when he uses Lake Lenape and people see the water. It's amazing how many people want to come out to Lake Lenape because of the water there. And then when he also advertises for Green Tree, he says it's dumbfounding how those same people that like the water are not necessarily enamored by the golf course. And he had pictures of the golf course that he uses. So it is. I mean, people have asked me, well, why are they competing interests? And he's been telling us it is not a competing interest, and two different kinds of group of people actually use those facilities. So,
Thank you, Gary. Have any other comments? Any comments from the public anymore?
I believe Freeholder Gatto asked the questions from Creed Pogue, but he does have one additional question here, asking about Dr. Previty. Talked about ROI. What is anticipated ROI for this?
All right, like for the golf course?
And he's saying return on
Yeah.
investment.
Yeah. Now, in our,
ROI at return on investment.
right, so let's discuss that. That's what our vendor uses with us is the rate of return. And John Hammer uses that all the time. So let's talk about that. So the plan is to have this installed somewhere around the end of April to the middle of May. That will allow John to start planning those larger events. So if you said to me in the first year, I would probably say that John, and again, this is conservative. I can't tell you what John will do. We've had conversations anywhere between 5 and 10 events. Those events, I think John is looking for roughly 80 people. So let's be conservative and just say there's 400 people that would be utilizing that facility that probably do not use the facility on a regular basis now. And obviously, if COVID is still going on, we'll be limited. We'll have people up on the deck. We'll have people, some indoors upstairs and some outside, depending on the weather, and some inside the tent. But if we could use the tent, and I don't anticipate that the virus will be over, and I don't believe there'll be a relaxing of the 25% requirements now. We'll probably have people in a lot of different locations, but that tent will definitely be the attraction for John to be able to plan larger events out there.
Thank you, Jerry. Do we have any further comments?
No further comments.
Okay, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 671, please.
Resolution appointing Frank D. Formica as the County Shared Services Coordinator.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any freeholder comments?
Madam Chair.
You got it?
Yeah, I just want to say that I think this is actually a huge benefit to us that unfortunately we don't have Freeholder Formica on the board anymore, but his experience in public service and now being in the private sector and having the ability to come into a role like this, I think is going to be extremely beneficial to us as a county and to the municipalities that I believe he'll work with in this role. So I'm very excited at this prospect, and I think it's a great appointment.
Thank you, Freeholder Gatto.
Madam Clerk,
Elder
Madam
Grizzly?
Chair, thank you. I see it as a great fit. It makes a lot of sense. Frank's got a lot of experience, and his loyalty to this county, I think, is important, and to promote the idea of shared services, which, quite frankly, is an idea that we need. We need to, expand upon it. And I think he's the right person at the right time to get the job done. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Madam Chair?
Freeholder Ballas?
Yes, I concur with both Freeholder Gatto and Risley. And the wonderful part about this is that it is grant money, so it's no cost to the county. And I applaud the county for going out and finding this money to make this happen, because it could really save municipalities and this county tax dollars, which is a good thing.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any other Freeholder comments?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Freeholder Fitzpatrick?
Thank you, Chairwoman. My comments are more about the process than the substance of this resolution. We had a budget finance meeting on Friday in the morning. This was not on the agenda, and then in the early afternoon, a revised agenda was sent to us. And so it's disappointing that the 12-day protocol is still being ignored by the administration. this was so rushed that the county treasurer didn't have time to complete the backup form, which normally tells us where the money's coming from, what the line item is it the first year of the program, and so forth. So we have a blank piece of paper except saying that it's the appointment of Frank Formica. This feels very disrespectful to the board. That being said, I know we voted recently to approve the creation of this position, and I'm a strong proponent of shared services. Mr. Formica may very well be the most qualified person in Atlantic County to fill this position, but there are questions. Was this paid position posted? Is it full-time? How will that work with Mr. Formica's consulting position for which he resigned from this board? What about consulting clients who may be involved in shared services negotiations? Will Mr. Formica recuse himself from those negotiations? Were there other candidates considered? Mr. Formica was opposed to the shared services agreement for tax assessors. Has that position changed? The way this is being presented smacks of cronyism and the old boys network, and this is why the residents of Atlantic County say that Dennis Levinson runs this board.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any other Freeholder comments at this time?
Madam Chair,
Freeholder Corsi?
let me first state from the outset that my comments have no direct impact on Frank Formica, the person. But I do have concerns in way in which this was brought about. I noticed that my colleagues jumped out very quickly to support Frank Formica for the position. It ought not to be about Frank Formica. It ought to be about the process. And once again, the process is when they feel the need to do something for somebody or somewhere, they just put it up. As my colleague would say, we violated once again our own 12-day notification. At some point in time, maybe this board will have the fortitude and the backbone to stand up and say no and let it wait the 12-day process. I made no qualms about it. I talked to Frank today because Frank's name happened to be on it. And I'm not questioning that Frank is qualified to be the coordinator of the shared services. I talked to the county administrator. I talked to our attorney. And I questioned the way and manner this was brought about. As Karen Fitzpatrick, Freeholder Fitzpatrick indicated, it was not advertised, it was not posted. And out of the blue, we come up with a shared service coordinator. No different than we did when we came up with a director of public safety. Out of the blue, not advertised, and just do it. Let the record reflect to all of my colleagues. We all know how to play politics. We know all how to horse trade, and we all know how to take orders. I'm offended to the fact that this resolution 671 would come before the Board of Chosen Freeholders, where every last one of you know that they do not need our approval to make Frank Formica the coordinator of shared services. We appoint, with the consent of the Board of Freeholders, directors and division heads. Same conversation I had with our county administrator today. I do not understand why the administration chooses to bring a resolution before this board when they do not need our consent to appoint Mr. Formica. It could have been Frank Ballas, it could have been Ernest Corsi, it could have been anybody appointed to this position. I had my own suspicions because if they was to get flack for it, first thing they say was the Board of Freeholders voted on it. Some of us are astute enough to know when you smell a rat. And again, this has nothing to do with the person. I made it very clear, I would never, ever take food out of a family's mouth. In the manner in this was done, they should be ashamed of themselves. and you members of this board for allowing it to come on here without a 12-day period. At some point, I hope and pray that this board wake up and understand there's a separation in government, legislative and administrative branch of government. We continue to allow the administration to dictate what goes on the agenda and when it goes on the agenda. And then we sit here and play dumb and stupid. Like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't realize. Oh, it's just, I understand that there was grant money, and my concern and comment was to the administrator and to Frank today was this. The resolution says $40,000. But with the resolution we passed back in April of this year, I believe it was April 7th, 2020, that talked about serious services, and it talked about $50,000 coming from DCI as a grant. So I was somewhat confused today whether the $50,000 would be on top of the $40,000 that we're getting ready to grant to Mr. Famika, which would have brought it to somewhat of $90,000 plus dollars. Jerry, to his credit, answered my questions. It is a full-time position that comes with benefits, and that he'd indicated to me that that $50,000 was moved to $40,000 from an 18 period to a 12-month period because the time that had lacked since they talked about this. The $40,000 or so, or the 50, however you want to cut it up, would go towards health benefits, etc. I get that. But the resolution itself was so vague. It basically was like a sneak attack. Put it on the agenda. Very little questions are going to be asked by members of the Freeholder Board. And so if Corsi or anybody else wants to ask questions, so what? We have the votes. It's not about having the votes. It's about the right thing. It's about following protocol. If we, the Freeholder Board, have passed a resolution that talks about a 12-day period, and out of the blue, within 72 hours or so, we allow a resolution to come on the agenda to talk about this. What we should have done, and I don't think anyone, and I'll venture to say this, I don't believe anyone on this board of freeholders or against shared services. But I think we need to make sure we do the right thing and follow the protocol. And again, let's take the person out of it and talk about the process. And once again, the process has not been followed. You could not do this to the administration if it was the Board of Freeholders. They would let you know they are the administration and we can't do nothing without them. Vice versa. They can't do it without us. It is unfortunately here in 2020, we still feel like we're under a dictatorship because this board refuses to stand up and say no when they should be saying no. Not saying that it shouldn't happen. We should have done the 12-day period, and we chose not to do so. And so, again, I have no objection to Frank Famika. Since his name is on the resolution, I have a problem with the process. And unfortunately, I would hope, or fortunately, or I at least hope going forward in 2021, that this board will stand up and stick to your own resolution and say 12 days, 12 days. It was not an emergency. We could have waited, or it could have came up in the beginning of the year. Reorg could have came up. As Fitzpatrick indicated, we had a budget meeting that day. It was nothing. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it pops up as an add-on. And I think it's probably 1 or 2 or 3 of us at the most probably questioned it. But be as it may, again, I believe that we should have a coordinator of shared services, and I know they're going to tell me, oh, this is something that Senator Sweeney wants to do. It's amazing how you can throw those names around when it's politically expedient or politically correct for you to do so. You do it. I wish we would put this much energy into a whole lot of other stuff that's happening in and around Atlantic County. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Frank knows a multitude of mayors, council people, committee people up and down, even around the state of New Jersey. Probably one of the best persons that could have gotten this job. We didn't advertise it. Not sure that you had to. But again, I don't understand, for the sake of money, why in the world that this resolution would come before the Board of Freeholders, which they know they do not need the freeholders' approval to do so. Just keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, it comes back to bite you in your behind. When they get flack, they'll say, we didn't do it, the Board of Freeholders did it. And so with that, I'll yield. In the event that any of my colleagues have anything to say, I will be able to respond back.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do we have any other freeholder comments? Any further comments?
I just want to make a comment that addressing Freeholder Corsi's. The reason, and I want to make this clear, the reason why we didn't advertise this is because in our discussions, and I'm going to go back to our original shared services agreements that we've had in the past. We had, and I don't know if you remember, we had Tom Foley and we had Jim McGeary. Mayor McGeary went after he retired. And so when we began discussing this, you just can't advertise and say you need somebody, because what are you going to put in the advertisement? That we need somebody who knows all the mayors, who knows state legislators. So we began talking to people who fit that criteria. A good number of them, that we talked to, already have jobs, weren't interested in 1 year or whatever the case may be. So as I explained to Freeholder Corsi, one way or the other, you'd have seen a resolution, because we were not going to just go hire, and I used some names of them, and I'm using people that, that were on our list. We wouldn't have just gone to hire John, for example, Tom Foley, John Armstrong, and there are several other mayors, that have retired, or state legislators that are retired. We wouldn't have just gone ahead and hired them without having them come here first, because obviously it would have looked as Freeholder Corsi saying political. So point being is, one way or the other, you were going to see a resolution. With respect to the salary, and I heard I think it was Freeholder Corsi, and I think Freeholder Fitzpatrick said the same thing. It was in terms of a resolution came before the board. Here is the issue. We didn't get a signed contract until the middle of September. So we really did not have a document all the way through. And then that's when we began making our phone calls. So even though we went through the process of going ahead and passing a resolution, you can't hire anybody until after you get a signed contract. So that's why it took so long. And if we wouldn't have done it at the beginning of the year, had they given us a signed contract immediately, this would be a moot point. We would have gone through the same process. You'd have gotten a resolution with somebody's name and whatever. So, and the salary, again, it was originally it was a 18-month contract. Because we didn't get a signed contract until after, it was really June 25th, I think I told Freeholder Corsi, to December 31st of 2000 and, next year, 21. We just thought the appropriate thing to do was to reduce the salary. And there is a requirement to match the grant, which we did. Now, we match it because under the requirements under civil service, if you're a full-time employee, you have to get health benefits. Unless you turn them down, whatever. So,
Madam Chair, if I may, I'm not going to beat a dead horse to death, but I just want, once again, for the record, Jerry, and that's exactly what you told me today. I still bring it back to the point was we did not, the administration did not have to bring a resolution before the Board of Freeholders to appoint a chair service coordinator. You choose to do that, and all of us are political. So let's not be naive to the fact that we're all political. However, like I said, if there was to be any backlash from the community or from the public, from any radio station host, you'll be able to say, not you per se, Jerry, but they'll be able to say, we didn't do it. The Freeholder Board voted on it. I can see right through it as clear as day. The fact of the matter is this, is that with the advice and consent of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, we appoint the division heads and the directors, not this type of thing. So bottom line is that the administration could have just done it without coming to the freeholder board anyway. You indicated, Jerry, it's a one-year grant. It could be renewed by DCA in that year's period. I did put a call into DCA to get some more clarification. It did come to my attention that this resolution was passed in April, and the person that's on the resolution today voted for the resolution at the time and asked the question, was that appearance of a conflict? I told him I'm not an attorney. It could be appearance of a conflict, but I am not an attorney to answer that question. But be as it may, I think I would agree again that Frank does know a lot of people. I think he would do a good job, an outstanding job as the coordinator of shared services. Some of the questions I raised this morning, Jerry was able to answer. And I talked about the full-time benefits. I talked about a full-time employee, et cetera, et cetera. So we're clear, Jerry. And I told you I was going to ask you this question on the air. We're clear. The salary for this position is $40,000.
That's correct. It's 40,000, not 50. That's correct.
Not 50, not 90.
Nope.
Because the resolution talks, and the resolution in April talked about the in-kind donation of the county of 40,200, I believe,
Right.
somewhere around there.
Right. Right.
$50,000 or so from DCA. So we're clear. It's $40,000.
Yep.
And that the other, whatever that dollar amount is, it's towards health benefits, et cetera.
Health benefits, and some of the things we have to do is get a computer and a printer. Exactly. That's what we discussed. Right.
I'm sure that the county has computers, but be as it may, I
Right.
just be clear about the dollar amount, and I'm not
Right.
talking about the person. I have no objection to the person. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any further comments? Freeholder Risley?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to correct something that was stated by Freeholder Fitzpatrick. She stated that Mr. Famik is against countywide tax assessment, and that, of course, is not true. I chaired a committee on that topic. We put together a plan. We were just opposed to the Gloucester County plan. And we have a plan that we think that's far superior to the Gloucester County plan. And I hope that someday that minds will be opened to look at our plan here in Atlantic County. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Bennett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I'm honest, I might very well just say I'm a little bit annoyed by this, because having Frank Formica as the chair or the coordinator of shared services would actually be an amazing thing for Atlantic County and for the residents. But I have to agree with my colleagues in the way and the manner in which it's done, it casts a negative light on it, which didn't need to happen. So now something that will be a blessing for our constituents, a blessing for the county, a blessing for Frank, of where we can continue to utilize his knowledge and his relationships and his expertise, now gives a negative light. And I'm annoyed by that because it didn't have to happen that way.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any?
Chairwoman.
Yep, Freeholder.
Thank you. I just want to quickly respond to Freeholder Risley. For 3 years, I've been hearing about this alternate plan, not the Gloucester plan, but I've never seen it. And that could be because it was presented before I got here. But I'm very interested to see and hear what this plan is. But we need to get this ball rolling. Let's do it. Thanks.
Freeholder, thank you. Do I have any other Freeholder comments?
Madam Chair, could I have the last 30 seconds of my balance of my time? And I promise I'll keep the 30 seconds. Again, we don't want to get caught up in the person as well as the process. But I would agree with my colleague from District 3. The process is very annoying to a lot of other people who probably afraid to say anything about it, and don't want this to go down party lines that we, the 3 Democrats, was objecting to Frank Formica. It has absolutely nothing to do with the person. And I want to be very clear about that to all of my colleagues, no matter what you may be thinking. Let's be very clear. If it was something you had objection to, you'd be strongly opposed to it. But most of you, if not all of you, have gotten directions that this was the right thing to do. And I'm not arguing that it's not. I just say it's the process. And going forward, I would hope that we follow our own rules of the 12-day rule. If it's not an emergency, it goes to 12 days. Leadership starts at the top. And we've got to take the ball by the horn and say 12 days is 12 days if it's not an emergency. I reserve the time.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any other Freeholder comments? Do we have any comments from the public?
We do, Madam Chair. Creed Pogue said this was moved a few months ago with a vote by then Chairman Formica, and now the position is being filled by him. If you don't have all of the information, especially for what matching expenditures will be necessary for the county, which would be tax. He also goes on to say nothing against Mr. Formica, nor against shared services, but full-time means you have one job ordinarily. You have one job ordinarily. He then goes on to ask, what are their goals beyond court consolidation for a one-year position? And then, in addition, he's asking if the state contract was in September, when was the first contact with Mr. Formica?
Okay.
Well, there is a match. I'm not quite sure I understand the first couple of questions, but there is a match. There's been a match since the very beginning. The contacts that we had starting in September were not with Mr. Formica because Mr. Formica wasn't even considered. We made a number of phone calls to people, like I've said, that have all of the qualifications to be able to pick up the phone and contact the mayors, the assembly people, the Senate, state reps. I want to also use that there are commissioners that you'll have to work with. In particular, you got to work with DCA and you got to work with local government services. And the person, and just let me take you back. There are two czars. They're called shared services czars. One's name is, I think, Nick Platt, and it's Glatt, Glatt, and Platt, Platt. They were both mayors, both retired. They were appointed by Governor Murphy to be the czars. However, the staff person assigned is a fellow named Rick Adella. Rick was assigned to Atlantic City for a while. So going back, no, we did not talk to Frank until recently. We kept hitting brick walls. Every time we got somebody, they wanted to know how long the job was for. We explained, it ends in December 31st of 2021. And unfortunately, nobody wants to give something up with the possibility that this would not be extended. Maybe Freeholder, of course, he knows something now after he's had conversations, but it's our understanding it ends. And the person who takes the job is supposed to Mr. Pogue's, number one, they go for like 2 days of training. And then their job is to look at what we presently do. So, when in fact you vote for Frank and Frank starts, we will give Frank all of the shared services we presently do. He'll go through them. One of the tasks is to decide, is there more of those kinds of things we can do? Can we expand on what we are presently doing? Then there are recommendations from the state. When you go to the 2-day training, there are things that they recommend. I mean, Rick has already sent me, information that the two czars, what they've done as mayors. So there's a lot of what will occur during the training, materials we already have. And then obviously, the person that gets the job will have to start meeting with the mayors
Madam Chair, maybe for Jerry. Jerry, you have raised another question. I was going to be quiet, but you have raised another question. I noticed that you indicated 2 mayors that you have talked to or someone talked to regarding shared service. Are you indicating by any stretch of your imagination that Frank Formica was a mayor somewhere?
No, what I was saying.
I didn't think so. I just noticed you kept talking about mayors. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes. Well, there were 2.
Frank was a mayor somewhere.
No,
we didn't know.
The state of New Jersey. Now, the state of New Jersey have 2.
I get that part. I was being.
That's right. No. Oh, no, okay.
He was the mayor of the bakery, but I didn't know if he was a mayor somewhere else and we didn't know about it. But Jerry, let me ask you this on a serious note, that now that if Frank, and it looks like Frank is going to get it without objection, but the point is, what comes with this in terms of staff? Does he, I mean, it becomes a whole, so how do you staff it?
Well, I don't know if you've ever been up in our office, but we have 3 individuals in our office that, provide the assistance to the executive, to me, to Diana Rittal, who is our deputy administrator, and to Linda Gilmore. But I got to be very honest with you, we all are, you all have computers. So there are certain things we can do on our own, and there are other things that our administrative assistants help us with. So
the bottom line
he'll have the same help that we all have up here. We'll all work together.
So listen, for the record, there will be no additional staff to this office.
No.
Shared services.
No, absolutely none.
Okay.
I guarantee you that there'll be absolutely none.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Madam Chair.
Oh, yep. Freeholder Ballas.
Yeah, so it was brought up not only by Free, but also by Freeholder Corsi, reference to the original resolution Frank Formica voted on. We have 2 attorneys that are on this call with us. Can we just get an opinion whether that's like fruit of a poisonous tree by him voting for that to create the position and then being in the position? I don't know whether it would be Roger that would comment or whether it would be Mr. Ferguson, but it's been brought up a couple of different times by freeholders and by now the public. If we can just have some kind of legal opinion on that.
But while they're waiting to answer that from the attorneys, as I indicated earlier, Freeholder Ballas, I did put in a call to DCA. I'm still waiting on a response back, because what we don't want to do is be in violation. And if in fact we go ahead and approve Frank Formica for this position, if it turns out to be a conflict or appearance of a conflict, he could be removed if they choose to do so. But again, we're not questioning his ability to serve in this capacity.
I'm going to answer. Can you hear me? This is Roger.
Yes.
Okay, let me be the first to answer. There is a code of ethics that is in the statutes. It's for the most part, it's a guide to local government officials and elected officials and employees. And it's found at 40A, NJ 40A:9-22.1 to the end. There's a number of sub-statutes with it. And it provides essentially a guide for those officials, elected and employees, to follow with respect to the actions they take while in office and while holding employment. The method by which is determined whether or not it is ethical or not ethical for any particular course of action. In the absence of a ethics board in the county, and we do not have one, is an inquiry to the Division of Local Government Services and the Local Finance Board of the DCA. And they will answer that if you want to make an inquiry.
Freeholder balance, that's what I was referring to.
Okay.
Do we have anybody else who wanted to comment on that?
Madam Chair,
Madam Chair.
I yield to my colleague.
Freeholder Bennett.
I just want to reiterate my statement that this could have been handled so much better with respect to our former chairman and respect to this position and for the residents. This didn't have to happen this particular way because now it gives the appearance of something that is in fact not true. And so here we are, but it didn't have to happen this way. And this could have been a different kind of conversation, especially with respect to all the experience that our former chairman has to give to this position. And it's really unfortunate that this is where we're at. So I just want to reiterate that that's very disappointing.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do we have any further comments?
Oh, yeah, I just yielded. I didn't say I was done.
I didn't say you were.
Madam Chair, in all due respect, I appreciate Roger's legal opinion, but I'd like to hear from the person who actually drafted the resolution in terms of his interpretation. Does he concur with our attorney? He drafted the resolution.
I do not believe that there's any conflict here. First of all, at the time the original resolution was passed many months ago, there was no indication at that time that I'm aware of that then Freeholder Chairman Formica was contemplating resigning from the board and pursuing a different avenue. And the mere fact that he voted on that resolution at the time and is now appointed to a position, I don't think there's any causal connection between the two that would, in my mind, create a conflict of interest or even a valid appearance of a conflict of interest. That's my opinion. Members of the board can agree to disagree with that, but that's my opinion. I don't believe that the resolution is ill-founded whatsoever, and it's my belief that there is no conflict and that the board, if it votes in favor of this, would not be doing anything either unethical or illegal. That's my legal opinion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. Opinions, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I appreciate you weighing in on it because I realized that you drafted the resolution. I think one more question, and it was not answered, and I promise you I'm done. I think Freeholder Fitzpatrick asked what impact, if any, this would have on Mr. Formica's other job that he signed the freeholders to go to by this being a full-time position.
I can certainly answer that question. And so everybody that we've spoken to that was working, I mean, let's be clear, that we called that meet the conditions, if they had any other kind of work that was considered consulting, they've all been told, number one, you got to fill out a moonlighting form and you cannot do any work on the job. You can't take phone calls. You can't do any of that on the job as long as you're holding this position with the county. Now, that's with everybody. That includes every single person that works for the county. Number one, you got to fill out a moonlighting form. We got to agree to the moonlighting form. And if you get caught, you get suspended and ultimately will probably be terminated if you do work on another job. I mean, we do it all the time. So we will enforce that. I mean, I can tell you the executives had conversations with at least 3 people with me in a room, Frank being one of them, that if they considered this position, those were the conditions under which they had to work. And everybody, and at least the 3 people I've spoken, that I was in the room as Danny was speaking to them, They all have to fill out a form and submit it to me saying what they do by hour every single day. So, I mean, Frank's no different than anybody else. He's no different than me. He's no different than anybody else. He will have to follow all the rules and regulations that we all follow.
Jerry, that's a good summary report, and I appreciate that. But I disagree with you on your last comment. Your last comment spoke to the fact that Frank is no different. Oh, Frank's different. Frank is real different. But
well, okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, do we have any other freeholder comments and, moving forward with this? I'm going to go to the public, and I do believe Mr. Formica may be in the public. Do we have any comments from the public?
We have a couple of more questions from Creed Pogue. How much is the state providing, and how much will the county need to spend?
The grant application was the state gave us $50,000 and we match it with $40,000. That was the requirement.
Are there other questions from anybody in the public?
No further questions, but Mr. Formica has been moved over to a panelist so he can speak.
Okay. Mr. Formica?
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I thank everybody for all their considerations and questions, and I certainly expect to put my every bit I can to do a good job here. I won't drop any names, but I'm already working in advance to come up with ideas that'll work. Shared services, Freeholder Fitzpatrick, countywide assessment is right on the list. And there are plenty of things to consider, but one of the first things I'd like to do, there is a shared services fund that Senate President put in place of $10 million. And he asked the county to take some of that and do a study. So before we go to mayors and we go and talk about sharing services, wherever it is, small cities, Corbin or Egg Harbor Township, and say, we can consolidate fire dispatch, or we can consolidate this municipal service, we're going to be able to show them on paper a synchronomic study that was provided for through grant money, that it actually does exist. So I just appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate everybody's heartfelt comments, and I'm glad to continue to serve the county.
Thank you, Mr. Formica. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Formica? Seeing none. Is there any other comments from the public?
No further questions.
Thank you, Pat. Okay, so I guess we'll have a roll call. And I do want to say there were a lot of very strong opinions and comments made, and I do think we have to really take these into consideration moving forward. So, and I thank everybody for, what they have to say this evening. Okay, roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey? Horsey?
I'm still pondering. I'm pondering because I'm going to vote yes, because I think Frank is qualified to do it.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Karen, you're muted.
You still on mute.
Okay, thank you. Yes, for the substance, not the process. Yes.
Gatto? Gatto?
I think she was having some technical difficulties because I don't see her up here right now.
Risley?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes. Motion carries.
Madam Chair, if I may, congratulations to Mr. Formica. I will hold him accountable. I can't speak for my other colleagues, but I hope that he would keep us abreast on the regular. And every now and then, as we do Ms. Pat Diamond to bring us updated on the COVID-19. We would hope we're in the same situation if Frank would come and give us an update what's happening in shared services. I didn't want to really get into the shared services because some of the stuff that the county has proposed has been rejected, but we're moving on.
Thank you, Freeholder. And we do have a shared service committee. So, hopefully they'll be working together and, keeping everybody informed. So thank you very much. Okay, so that brings us to 675. Okay, I'll take a motion to combine and adopt resolution I'm going to take a motion to combine and adopt 672 to 675.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any Freeholder comments? Okay, any comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto, Risley,
Yes.
Hearn.
Yes, motion carries. Now we have our Freeholder sponsored resolutions, resolution 676.
Resolution of support for the offer by Atlantic County Executive Dennis Levinson to Governor Murphy for Atlantic County to assist the State Department of Health as a pilot program site facility for COVID-19 vaccine distribution. Sponsor Amy Elgato.
Moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any Freeholder comments? Yep, Freeholder. Freeholder Corsi.
Somebody just tried to cut me off? No, I heard somebody else. Was somebody trying to cut me off?
No, so you were both talking at the same time, but you were first. You came out first. So Freeholder.
I wasn't trying to cut. I thought somebody was getting ready to say something before me. It would have been okay. I think this is a good resolution, but y'all gotta be laughing there. My question is, in the scheme of everything, we know that Atlantic Care is one of the facilities who will be administering the COVID-19 vaccine. Is there any, and Amy's not on, so if anybody can answer the question, would this be a fee coming from the state for us to help, or we're just offering a site? Maybe Jerry can answer that question.
What this is that we're willing to help any way we can. And I can tell you the state's been speaking with Patty, and Denny had after there that he's willing to give as much support as he can. They've been talking to Patty. You heard Patty. There's some planning involved right now. So the Freeholder resolution might just push them over the edge at the state level just to just give Patty some more resources. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think it's a good resolution. I'm actually waiting to get a call to see if I can get the vaccine myself.
Yeah.
Thank you, Freeholder.
For the resolution, we'll see that you get online the shots. Just kidding.
Freeholder Days.
Yeah, I just want to say that I think the resolution, again, kind of piggybacks onto the county executive's letter. The fact that, I've heard that Atlantic County's economy is either the worst in the entire country or second only to Maui, Hawaii. So I think it kind of does reinforce the fact that we do need a little bit more help here in Atlantic County, whether it's with the vaccine distribution. We're an extremely diverse county. We have the migrant farmers, the workers in the western end. We have the casinos along the shore. We have a lot of shore visitors in the summer and spring. So again, I think it just kind of reinforces the fact that we are an extremely diverse county. We have an extremely diverse, unfortunately, yet not diverse enough economy. But we've been probably one of the most severely impacted counties in the state, as was mentioned in, I think, the bipartisan plan from Congress the other day. New Jersey, after the largest states, is on, hopefully, if it's approved, on path to get the fifth largest share of the money because of the COVID pandemic has had on our economy. And again, no one in the country has affected more severely than Atlantic County. So I do think it's important to keep that the focus on that. So I think it's a great resolution, a good letter, and hopefully we'll be able to assist and accommodate the state in the vaccine distribution in any way possible.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any other Freeholder comments? Okay, seeing none. Do we have anything from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
I was almost asleep till Rich woke me up. Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Risley, Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 677.
Resolution setting the date and time of the annual reorganization meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the County of Atlantic and authorizing it to be conducted by electronic and telephonic means on Tuesday, January 5th, 2021 at 4 p.m.
Motion?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any Freeholder comments? And now everybody's getting tired, right?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, Freeholder Corsi.
To my colleagues, I hope that you have read Resolution 677 regarding the reorg and the dates of meetings, et cetera, so we don't come back and say we didn't realize what we voted on.
Okay. Well, like you want Pat to read the whole resolution?
No, I just wanted to bring that to the attention of my colleagues. No.
Okay. Okay, any other Freeholder comments? Any comments?
Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't get that far. What are the times of the meetings? Are they changing?
For next year?
Yeah. Yes.
This is
Yes.
just for the reorganization meeting.
We don't have the schedule of meetings yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any comments from the public?
No comments.
Okay, roll call?
Ballas,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to Resolution 678.
Resolution honoring District 3 Freeholder Ashley R. Bennett.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, motion been made and second. I'm going to read the resolution. It is honoring District 3 Freeholder Ashley R. Bennett. Whereas Ashley R. Bennett launched her political career as District 3 Freeholder in Atlantic County on November 2017. And whereas during her 10 years as Freeholder, Ashley R. Bennett served as a committee member to the County Asset Review, Homeless, Human Services, Public Health, and Environmental and Shared Services Committees, and represented the Freeholder Board on the Library Advisory Commission and Youth Services Commission. And whereas Ashley R. Bennett also served as the Atlantic County Freeholder Board first alternate to the New Jersey Association of Counties, and volunteered and served on the National Association of Counties Human Services and Education Steering Committee. And whereas co-founder of the Atlantic City Women's March, Ashley R. Bennett coordinated the first march in honor of the legacy of Fannie Lou Hamer in 2019. And whereas a lifelong resident of Egg Harbor Township, Ashley R. Bennett graduated from Egg Harbor Township High School, earned a BA degree from Rutgers University and a master's degree in Georgian Court University, and a post-baccalaureate certificate from Fielding Graduate University. And whereas Ashley R. Bennett is a psychiatric emergency screener where she fulfills her passion to serve others. And whereas Ashley R. Bennett will attend her last freeholder meeting on Tuesday, December 15, 2020. Now therefore be it resolved by the Atlantic County Board of Chosen Freeholders that this board does hereby honor and thank Ashley R. Bennett for her dedicated and unselfish service to the citizens of Atlantic County, New Jersey. And be it further resolved that the board extends its best wishes to Ashley R. Bennett and all of her future endeavors. And I know it's not the last we're going to hear from you, but we also have a plaque. So we have this plaque for Ashley, and it is presented to Ashley R. Bennett in recognition of outstanding service and dedication to the citizens of Atlantic County, January 28th to December 20th, presented the 15th day of December 2020. And we also have the proclamation frame for you as well, Ashley. We thank you for everything that you've done for us. So now, do we have any freeholder comments? Okay, Freeholder Risley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just like to say congratulations, and I wish Ashley all the best. I know the work that you do, you've discussed it with me in the past, and it's important work. It's very important work to people every day. As a freeholder, I know that every vote you made was a sincere vote. I know you did a lot of listening, and that's a very important aspect of being an elected official is listening. And I know that, again, that you put your efforts into it and you were very sincere. So I certainly wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Any other Freeholder comments? Freeholder Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. I just want to say what a pleasure it's been serving on this board with Ashley Bennett. She's brought a lot of her point of view has been enlightening to me, and I think to a lot of other people. She's broadened our horizons and will continue to do so in the future for the people who are lucky enough to come in contact with her. Thank you, Ashley. Best of luck.
Yeah, nicely said, Freeholder. Do I have any other Freeholder comments? Oh, I think you're on mute. Mr. Bertino.
I am on again. Thank you. Ashley, I just want to say it's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you. Serving with a board member who serves with such passion and sincerity has been very refreshing. And I do appreciate having the opportunity to watch you the last few years and learn from you. You're going to be sorely missed. You're a great asset to the board. You're a great asset, it seems, in everything you do. That's a compliment and a credit to you. Keep up the good work. We're going to miss you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any other? Oh, Freeholder Dace.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I just wanted to let you know how much I really did appreciate the conversations we had before and after our freeholder meetings. I appreciate your service to your constituents, to Atlantic County. And I think most of all, I appreciate, like I said, our conversations, but the importance that you've put into highlighting the seriousness of mental health issues, not only here in our county, but across the state. I see firsthand every day as a teacher, and I truly appreciate the efforts that you make on behalf of mental health awareness. So thank you for that, and best wishes for all you do in the future.
Thank you, Freeholder. Have any other Freeholder comments? Do we have any comments? Oh,
y'all know y'all not getting over that easy. Go ahead.
I know. Freeholder Ballas.
Y'all wasn't getting up. But I seen my colleague Ballard going first. So.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to wait till last because I was last through the door, but so it's up to you whether you want to go first.
You're still a junior senator. You can go.
Okay, thank you. Well, first, I just want to congratulate Ashley. It's an honor to be able to serve on this board with her. I sat her, in the audience and watched her, and I've known Ashley for quite some time. She went to school with my son, and she's a great person. Thank you for all the insight that you've given to me my short time on the board, and best luck in your future endeavors. And thank you for being from Egg Harbor Township.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Corsi.
All right, almost the best for last because I know somebody want to try to chime in, but let me just say that Ashley, it has been indeed a pleasure and a privilege to serve with you on the Freeholder Board. You came in as a freeholder. You will be the last one to leave as a freeholder entitled as we move on to 2021 and we become county commissioners. But we want to congratulate you and thank you for all you've done on behalf of the residents of Atlantic County. It's interesting. I know there's days I made you laugh and days you wish you didn't have a conversation with me because we agreed to disagree on issues, but it was never a personal issue. But what you have brought to the Board of Freeholders in District 3, I tell people this all the time. Ashley came on the Freeholder Board as a rock star, was made national news all up and down the country on every talk show and TV shows. Because the way when we did the Million Man March, Women's March in Washington, and Ashley came in on the Board of Freeholders at a critical time when folks thought it could not be done, and it was. But Ashley never let that get in the way of her service to the people. And, sometimes we get hooked up and caught up in fame opposed to realizing why we are here. And all of us are here because we have a job to serve the people who elected us. And Ashley never, ever forgotten that. So we wish you well. This is sure enough not the end of Ashley Bennett, just as a freeholder for now. She liable to come back as some assembly or mayor or committee person or something. But I think her love for public servant will not end today. She'll move on because it's a gift from God that gives all of us the ability to help others. When you talk about your career and mental health, et cetera, it is something you're passionate about. And we certainly appreciate what you've done. We're a phone call away, and please do not feel threatened to call us, to lay us out, to get on these meetings and tell us when we're right and when we're wrong. We welcome that. But you have made friends among friends on the Board of Freeholders. And God bless you. God keep you. Stay safe. And we certainly wish you well in the very, very near future.
Nicely said, Freeholder. Do we have any other Freeholder comments? Any comments from the public?
Reed Pogue said, "Thank you for your service to Atlantic County residents."
And are there any other comments?
No further comments.
All right, thank
Well,
you.
we'd like to hear from Miss Bennett.
I know. Here we go.
Sure.
Ashley.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. I truly do appreciate it. These last 3 years were a whirlwind, to say the least. And it has been a privilege and it has been a pleasure to learn from you all, to grow with you all, and to do service. That is the rent for life is service. And so I'm happy that I was able to add my voice, add my ideas, and that it was welcomed and that it was appreciated. And even when we always we disagreed sometimes, that it wasn't necessarily, as my colleague Freeholder Corsi say, disagreeable. And so I would just say thank you so much. At this point, this particular chapter is closing. The book's not over. I am going to be graduating this May with my master's in public health. So I may not be up on a dais passing policies. I'll just go write them instead. So that is my next journey in that foray. But I would just say to everyone, have a safe and happy holidays. It's been a pleasure. And let's remember, regardless of where we fall in the aisle, we get the awesome privilege of trying to make substantial change for the communities we serve and to uplift people and to create a better future for them and a better present. So with that being said, let's always remember that we all have different ideas and all of them are respected and needed, and we're greater when we work together and we can do amazing things. So thank you
so much, Ashley. We all truly wish you the best. And I think there's a doctorate in your future. I don't know.
Unfortunately.
Got a couple family members there. But I know you'll be there. You'll be there for all the, people in our community and working hard as you always do. So thank you very much. And we'll take a roll call.
Ballas,
Absolutely.
Bennett,
My last official act, yes.
Martino,
Yes, indeed.
Horsey,
That was not a conflict for her to vote, so yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, it's been my pleasure to get to know you. Thank you very much. And the motion carries. Okay,
If I may, before we move on, I think it would be remiss if I didn't say it. I know that the ladies in the office, they are very shy. I'm certainly sure that they all want to wish Ashley very well in her endeavors as she moves forward. They're not accustomed to public speaking. So I thought my big mouth would do it for them. And Ashley, I'm sure that the ladies in the office really appreciate you being around and that they wish you well.
yes.
We do.
Thank
We
you.
all do, yes.
Thank you.
Freeholder Horsey.
Okay, that concludes. And we had to make this one really long for you, Ashley, to get, that had to be your last meeting this long. But
I know the hazing was there. I understand.
Okay, so that concludes the written portion of our agenda. Any reports from special committees of the board? Seeing none. Is there any unfinished business? Seeing none. Any new business? Seeing none. We've received copies of written communications and petitions. Does any freeholder have any comments? Freeholder Fitzpatrick.
Yes, thank you very much, Chairwoman. I've been receiving some messages from an Atlantic County veteran named Dave Leopold, and he tells me that he was promised during the campaign this past year a new VA hospital and clinic in Atlantic County. And I didn't know anything about that, but I talked to him about the new clinic that opened up in Cape May County, and he said that was too far for him. He couldn't get there. Maybe he doesn't drive. So I'm wondering, is Atlantic County able to provide transportation to that Cape May County clinic for our veterans? He also told me that the Northfield clinic is woefully understaffed. And so I have call into the VA about that. But I wonder if it's at all possible for us to provide transportation on a semi-regular basis to Cape May County.
Well, we provide, as you know, we provide transportation now to when they have to go to Delaware or Philly. So I'm pretty sure. Mr. Leopold, you don't happen to have a phone number. Maybe you can get me a phone number. I'll have our transportation coordinator, you can give it to me, via email, and I'll make sure they call them and make arrangements for them.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah, okay. Just want to make one comment about the new clinic. They are bidding. My understanding from the VA, they have specifications. They are bidding for a new clinic in Atlantic County. So, I'm not sure. We don't know when exactly the specs are coming out, but I can certainly find out. And I know they're supposed to build a new one. I've been told it's supposed to be 22,000 square feet. So.
Okay. If you could send me some info on that, I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Okay, and I want to make a comment too, because I go on the Veterans Advisory Board meetings. They are on Zoom, and people can go in and listen to them. They're really working hard on quite a few endeavors, but they are on Zoom, and people can go and listen to their meetings. Okay, but thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. Okay, is there any other new business? Or any copies of communications?
Madam Chair.
Elder Alice?
Okay, Madam Chair, basically just wanted wondering communication. I'm sure we all got reference to Habitat for Humanity with the donation of the N95 masks to the county. Just want to publicly thank them. I'm sure they're being put right into service, and it's very timely with the vaccines coming out. Them donating them to us, it's a nice, very nice thing.
Yes, it was. Thank you very much. Do we have any other communications? Anybody like to?
If I may?
Yep.
Just a reminder that the food bank and the CRDA, in conjunction with the casinos, the food giveaway for the Atlantic City residents / casino workers, which was supposed to take place on this Thursday at Beta Field, has been moved to Friday due to the inclement weather they're anticipating, and that will be Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. At Beta Field. City residents and casino workers, they will have a annual or every 2 or 3 week giveaway as they did for Thanksgiving. So if you know a city resident or a casino employee, they can go there. Most of them know the routine by now. But if you ever had the chance to ride by there, it is unfortunate. Fortunate they can get stuff. Unfortunate they have to be in a card line to receive the stuff. We urge them to do so. Also, on December the 21st, city residents, Atlantic City Mayor will be giving out holiday, again, hams and I believe ham turkeys and stuff to city residents. They must provide ID. It's 12 noon, first come, first serve. It would be in the parking lot of City Hall. That's on December the 21st. Also, city residents, yesterday was the last day to sign up for the mayor's toy giveaway on the 18th, which is Friday. So they did not sign up. It's probably too late. That's just a couple footnotes that's happening in and around Atlantic County.
Thank you, Freeholder. Do I have any other written communications?
Madam Chair, just quickly, through you to Freeholder Corsi, can we get a copy of the flyers for those giveaways?
If you call me tomorrow, I'll get you a copy. We do have it on the website, city's website, as well as Instagram and Facebook right now. But if you call, I'll try to send it over to you. I don't have it with me right now, though. But we do have city's website.
Okay. And then also, Madam Chair, through you to Jerry, do we have any giveaways, food giveaways for county residents as a whole?
The county hasn't done that. We're in the process of, through ACIA, contributing money to the food giveaway in Atlantic City. So that's what we're doing. We're contributing finances there.
Thank you. Okay, do I have anything else? We'll now open the public comments portion. Anyone that would like to speak, please type yes in the question and answer box. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. Do we have anybody?
We have Creed Pogue. I believe he was still having audio problems, maybe. So he's typed in a few things. First, wishing everyone a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. 2, since hope springs eternal, asking that commissioners consider that there has been a repeated cycle of breaking norms and then a pledge to reinstate them, which lasts until the next time. We are all flawed sinners in need of grace, but perhaps a new year will mean better results.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anybody else from the public?
No further comments.
Any comments for the good of the order?
I just want to wish all my colleagues a happy holiday, safe holiday, and that we certainly look forward to a new year as we end our official titles of County Board of Chosen Freeholders, and we look forward to going to next year as county commissioners. It has been a real plum pleasure this year. As I stated before, we have agreed to disagree on issues, but we thought we were doing what was in the best interest of our residents in the county, and that's why we are here. And at the end of the day, I certainly wish everybody a healthy holiday season. Please stay safe, and that, listen, do not take this COVID-19 for granted, and we cannot take our foot off the brake.
Thank you. Freeholder Balance, did I see your hand?
Yes, ma'am. So first of all, I just want to wish everyone happy holidays and a happy and safe new year. But I also want to mention that Atlantic County Toys for Kids If anybody didn't know, Trooper, who is the dog, the mascot, passed away. I think it was either Thursday or Friday of last week. So they're doing a fundraiser this Saturday in honor of Trooper at their location at the Ventnor Shopping Plaza. Anyone who brings it, it'll be Saturday, December 19th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Anyone who brings a unwrapped toy valued at $10 or more will also receive from Acme a $10 gift card that you can use in Acme, one per family. So if we can just, spread the information through the rest of my colleagues, go out and support him. It's a, very trying time. Not only was Trooper a, mascot and was always out at all the events for Toys for Kids, he was also a service animal for retired Sergeant Greg DiPiano. So, the dog will end up having to be replaced eventually, just for his health. So, anything I can do and anything hopefully my colleagues can do to assist with the fundraiser for them would be appreciated.
Councilor Bowles, I second that motion. And if anybody knows Greg DiPiano, he has taken this so very hard. And so we keep him in our thoughts and prayers. But I'd certainly agree if we can go over to the shopping center this Saturday and participate, it would do his heart very well.
Thank you. Do we have anything else for the good of the order? Freeholder Fitzpatrick.
Just want to say happy holidays, happy new year. See y'all next year.
Thank you, Freeholder. Okay. Anybody else for the good of the order? Okay. Happy holidays, everyone. We'll see you commissioners in the new year.